Who wrote this report?
This is our Africa analyst.
Okay, no, but we're talking about something that may have come out of the NSC. There's
right,
something else.
Right. So
let's talk about the Trump policy.
Right. So it came out, I think, yesterday, and it's basically a summary of the U.S. strategy towards China. It's 16 pages long. It was put up by and so we were talking about this during the break. I'm not really sure who wrote it. I think there was a requirement in the National Defense Authorization Act here to write this, but I'm not sure it's a DoD document. I think someone I talked to says they think it was written in the National Security Council, which would make sense. It kind of
and one of the best people in that building, who's now Deputy National Security Advisor,
Matt Pottinger, who's been there from day one,
Mr. Asia guy, right. And he's superlative. Former Marine, former journalist, and he speaks the languages and gets the area.
Well, he's great. There's no question about that, and he's been with the president
since the get-go.
I think it's a very well-written document. It's very clear, and it's very comprehensive, economic, political, military, and it makes very clear what we're here. We're not here to overthrow the government in Beijing. It's very, very clear on that. But it says, we will not stand for all the things you do in the world, which are impinging on our interests and those of our friends and allies. And we will work with our friends and allies. We won't stand for that. And when you are wrong, we will tell you, and we will try to stop it or mitigate or make you change your behavior.
In the Obama administration, there's a phrase that they like to use a little bit out of the academic world, the global commons, that we've just got to work together. Right. What I was in the room with the people. It was Nadia Shadlow holding the pen. We had regular meetings in the NSC to write the new national security strategy. And perhaps the most important part of that strategy, in addition to it clearly being the voice of the president, is this idea of grand power competition, right. Which is, James, I see that as just an attempt to re-inject reality into international affairs and national security.
Yeah. So when you go to the Chinese and say, let's just all work this out, what that means to the Chinese is, China, will do whatever I possibly can to get away with, and you won't try to stop me. That's what it means. I explain this as the Mongo strategy, right? Remember the old movie Blazing Saddles? Our strategy with China for over 30 years was, don't shoot Mongo, you might make them mad, right? It's, let's not antagonize China. Let's let China rise, and they'll all become nice guys, and we'll go out and have a beer. And the reality is what we've done the last 3 years is exactly the opposite, and it is way better. Don't ignore the things where they're hurting you. The intellectual property theft, the human slavery, the human rights abuses, the undermining you at the UN. Don't ignore the bad things. Focus on the bad things and challenge them on that and make them stop. Anybody who's ever raised a teenager, they should get this. Hello?
Just as kind of commonsensical, how does it not matter in relations with another country that it's a communist dictatorship? Doesn't it matter?
Yeah, so it does. I said, look, fundamentally, what do we believe in? We believe, generally, not just the United States, but most of the countries that call themselves the free world, right. They like elected governments. They
freedom of choice of governments.
Believe in basic human rights, and they believe in the free enterprise system. The Chinese Communist Party doesn't believe in any of those things. They see them as obstacles to Chinese power. And if we as nations don't stand and protect the fundamental things we believe in, the Chinese will steamroll. That's it. That's just what's going on here. It doesn't say you can't do business with China, you have to disengage with China, you have to nuke China. It doesn't say any of those things. It says, don't be a patsy. Newt Gingrich once gave a talk to a bunch of ambassadors, and the Chinese ambassador got at me. He was very furious at Newt Gingrich. And Newt says, "Look, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. If I could take advantage of you, I blame us for letting you take advantage of us. All we need to do, fundamentally, to deal with China is to stop letting them take advantage of them. And that gets to the point about the president standing up at the World Health Organization and other things. If we don't stand up for America, right, who the heck's going to stand up to the Chinese?
It reminds me of that scene in the Austin Powers movie where the henchman is running from the steamroller, but he's running very slowly, and the steamroller finally squishes him. Right. Don't be that guy. Yeah. It is a steamroller. Just because you don't want it to be a steamroller doesn't mean it's not a steamroller. Injecting reality back into geopolitics. Follow him right now. He's preventing World War III one tweet at a time. Jay Carafano on Twitter, Vice President of the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org, helmed by the superlative K. Coles James. Join today. You won't regret it. I'm Sebastian Gorka.